there, so we're back with creating box plots. This is part 2. Sorry, the first video cut off on me. So we have some data here, and we're giving it the data in order from least to greatest, and we have to match the box plot that correctly summarizes the data. So I went ahead and wrote this out on paper. I find this much easier than trying to just look at it on the computer. I can't keep all that information in my brain. So when I wrote it out on paper, I have a minimum of 16, a maximum of 28, and then I went ahead and started crossing off to get to the middle. So with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers on the right in the upper half, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers on the left for the lower half. That means that the median is 22 because it's going to be right in the middle of 21 and 23. So the median's 22. And this 21 now goes back to the lower half, and the 23 goes back to the upper half. So then I crossed off to find the middle of the upper half, and I had two 26s in the middle. So if you have two of the same number, it'll just be that number. If you added them together and divided by 2, you would just get back to that number. So 26 is the upper extreme, which is also known as the Q3. And then for the lower half, I had 16 and 20 in the middle. 18 is halfway between 16 and 20. Now that I know just from counting by 2s, right? 16, 18, 20. If I added them together, I would have gotten 36, and 36 divided by 2 is 18. So two different ways to look at it. So the lower extreme is also known as the Q1. So I am looking for a box plot that looks like this. 16 is my minimum, 18 is my Q1 or my lower extreme, 22 is my median, 26 is my Q3 or upper extreme, and 28 is my maximum. So I'm going to look for a box plot that matches that. So here's 16 for the minimum, 18 is my lower, 22 is my median, 26 is my upper, and 28 is my maximum. So B is the correct answer for this question. All right, so for the last one, we are given a box plot and we need to match the data, okay? So what's tricky about it being given the box plot and having to match it is that we have 4 strings of data to look through, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and write some of these down and start to manipulate the numbers and see what I'm working with here. Now, the first thing I want to do is get rid of any possible choices so that I don't have to waste my time looking through them. Now I can see right away that 38 is my maximum, and I see an option of 40 here. So B is definitely not an option. So I'm going to go ahead and just write these down on my paper. I will show you them in a minute. So my options are A, B is out, so I'm going to cross that out right away, and D. Okay, so right away I can cross out B. It is not an answer. All right, for A, I'm going to rewrite these really quick. I've got 25, 28, 29, 29, 32, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38. And I apologize that this is kind of time consuming, but this is what you have to do when you're working with this data. You have to work with it, and you have to manipulate the numbers a little bit, okay? So bear with me as I just work through this quickly to figure out what the median is first. So I've crossed out 3, there's 4. I have 2 in the middle, so that means my median is 33. So I'm looking for a median of 33. So let me go back. I have a median of 32. So I don't need to work with this anymore. I know that A is not an option. Okay, so I'm gonna cross off A. Let's write down C. All right, so for C, if I take a look at it, I can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's leaving me with 30 and 34 in the middle, which would be a median of 32. Same thing here. So far I have to work with C. I have to write this down. So I'm gonna just write this down for a second. I have 25, 28, 28, 29, 30, 34, 35, 37, 37, and 38. Okay, maybe we will get lucky and this will be our winner. So again, I need a lower quartile of 29. Actually, looking at this, I don't think that's gonna work, but let's get to it anyway. So again, I'm just crossing out to get to the middle. I'm gonna end up with 2 in the middle again. I have a median. Oh, I have a of 32 on this one. So this is not the answer. Definitely not the answer. Nope, it could be the answer. This could be 32, I'm sorry. The other one, A could not have been the answer. I wasted our time on that one. So 32 is our median here. This goes in now. Let's use another color to get toward the center and the lower quartile here. So lower quartile of 28 and an upper quartile of 37. So that's not gonna work. Right away I can see that should be a 35, an upper quartile of 35. So guess what, everybody? We're not gonna waste our time. I'm going to just guess that D is the correct answer. 35 is looking toward the end there in the middle. Gonna have a median of 32 and looks like a lower quartile of 29, which is correct. So I believe that D is the correct answer. So again, it took a little bit of time. You have to play with the numbers. You really have to look at it and make sure it makes sense. The most important part is to have these 5 pieces of data in order and understand what they mean. Understand what your minimum is. It's also called your lower extreme. I put that here, I'm sorry, that shouldn't have been there. Your lower quartile is what this is called. So let me cross that out. I apologize, that should say quartile. Okay, so this is like 25% of the data. This is another 25% of the data. That's why they're called quartiles or quarters. So all of the data is 100% of the data, right? So the median is showing you 50% of the data. If you're here at the third quartile, you've looked at 75% of the data, okay? So the lower extreme is also known as the minimum, lower extreme, and then the maximum is also known as the upper extreme. I apologize, I wasn't paying attention earlier when I wrote that. So these are quartiles. Okay, so do your best. If you're really struggling with this, one of us is happy to work with you on it, but just give it a try and really slow yourself down. Don't get mad at yourself if you are struggling with it, because there's a lot of tiny little details here that you need to work on. All right, so good luck, you guys. See you later.